Election day is less than a week away, so it's time for the candidates to offer their closing arguments. Donald Trump held a rally at Madison Square Garden that attacked Puerto Ricans, blacks, Jews, women, Asians, Samoans, immigrants. And last night, Kamala Harris went in a different direction.
With the White House illuminated behind her and in front of 75,000 supporters, Vice President Harris delivered her closing message.
America, for too long, we have been consumed with too much division, chaos, and mutual distrust. And it can be easy then to forget a simple truth. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. It is time to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms.
Yeah, you fingers, it's arm time. That was Kamala's closing argument. Stop all the finger pointing, you babies, and heal the divisions like empathetic adults. Now, time for her to sit back and let the positive vibes emanate across the nation.
President Biden makes comments about Trump supporters, calling them, quote, garbage.
Joe Biden's garbage gaffe.
A political headache for Vice President Kamala Harris.
It has completely changed the narrative from where it was 24 hours ago.
He was clearly disparaging a whole group of people, more than half of this nation.
I do not even think during the American Civil War, Abraham Lincoln called the people of the Confederacy garbage.
Wait, hang on. Joe Biden is still the president? Wait, and what, he's worse than the Civil War? What the hell is going on? I mean, calling Trump supporters garbage right before the election feels like a crazy thing to say, even if you believe that. I mean, just wait 6 more days, man. I want to know, what did he actually say?
Just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Okay, I guess it's unclear if he's calling Trump supporters garbage or just the guy who called Puerto Rico garbage. I don't know, maybe more context will give us some more clarity. What did he say just before this?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware.
I see. This guy is too old and his brain is a floating pile of garbage, of course. Now, the Dems don't want to admit that the President of the United States should not be using a computer unsupervised, so they went with this explanation.
The White House very quickly tried to argue that when he used the word supporters, he wasn't talking about Trump supporters writ large, but that there was an apostrophe in there. That is what is included in the official transcript. They tried to argue that he was specifically referencing the comments from that comedian at the Madison Square Garden rally on Sunday.
That's right. In the last week of the campaign, Republicans are calling for a roundup of immigrants, and Democrats are like, you have to put the apostrophe in the right place. This election is really coming down to Nazis versus grammar Nazis. And if Democrats are relying on Americans to understand how apostrophes work, then this election is because have you ever seen a sign outside a bar? I mean, they basically use an apostrophe to mean, here comes an S. And look, Republicans aren't accepting any of these excuses because they don't know what an apostrophe is. And they think it's intentional that Biden called them garbage. And they could not be more excited because Republicans have been under fire for their garbage thing. And now they're like, yes, Biden's garbage thing cancels out our garbage thing. So now we're back to neutral. I mean, just look how excited Marco Rubio was when he got to interrupt a Trump rally to tell Trump the news.
All right, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage.
Look how excited Rubio is. Everybody, look, I have great news. We are garbage. Celebrate good times. Come on. I mean, Rubio delivered that news like he was announcing the war is over. And you can tell how excited Trump is because his face is at full orange alert. This put Trump in such a good mood that he briefly found religion.
That's what it says. That's what it says. But he doesn't know. You have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
He not knoweth what he said. Someone's been reading an Instagram quote about the Bible. I mean, Trump should speak like this more. It makes him sound kind of wise. Like, thou art eating thy cats and thou art eating thy doggeths. Now, obviously, Republicans are happy to hit Democrats with this Biden gaffe, and obviously the media is excited to cover a garbage fight. And I guess that's what we're going to talk about for the last week of the election. And that's fine, because it's not like anyone said anything that might have a bigger impact on our lives.
The key that I think that President Trump has promised me is control of the public health agencies, which are HHS and its sub-agencies, CDC, FDA, NIH, and a few others, and then also the USDA, which is key to making America healthy.
Great. That sounds like the healthiest man in America, everybody. You two could sound like this when I'm in charge of everything. To be fair, RFK Jr. is actually pretty healthy. I mean, he's 70 years old, and that's like 850 in Kennedy years. But still, how is this guy gonna be in charge of food quality? I mean, they found a dead worm in his brain, so even his skull can get a higher rating than a C. Of all the characters in this election, this guy is the scariest because he doesn't believe in vaccines or pasteurizing milk. He thinks antidepressants cause school shootings and that COVID was engineered to not affect Jews. And he thinks chemicals in the water make kids trans. And Trump is going to put him in charge of all the health and food and medicine. I mean, surely Trump will at least put some limits on what he can do, right? Like, Donald, you're not going to just let this guy go wild, are you?
I'm going to let him go wild on health. I'm going to let him go wild on the food. I'm going to let him go wild on medicines.
Wait, how are you going to let him go wild on medicine? Like, what, you going to let him dip his balls in the cough syrup? For more on what RFK could do in a Trump presidency, let's go live to CDC headquarters with Jordan Klepper. Jordan. Why is the media paying attention to Joe Biden's gaffes when RFK running the CDC sounds like a much bigger deal?
Good question, Ronnie. It's because focusing on institutions like the CDC is what we in the media call boring. No one wants to hear the overly complex details about how RFK is going to unvaccinate people by clamping down on their arms and sucking out their injections like it's a snake bite.
Wait, would that even work?
Look, you're getting lost in the weeds, Ronnie. The real scoop is that this morning, Joe Biden said he hopes Kamala becomes president of the United States. President? Are you kidding me? What is going on here? Well, I promise to get to the bottom of it in my new primetime special, All the President's Men.
Wait, Jordan, sorry. Could we go back to, what was that thing you said about RFK undoing my vaccinations?
I don't know. I zoned out. It was something about summoning the power of the U.S. military to go door to door and yada, 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 yada. I don't know.
Wait, military? What, you mean RFK will have access to, like, tanks and shit?
I don't know. I didn't ask too many follow-ups because there's so much Joe Biden news coming out. Like this afternoon, Biden said we need to respect the will of the voters. The voters? What? This guy is all in for the 1%.
Okay. Jordan, I mean, it's obvious that he meant the voters.
Ooh, controversy. Now we're really getting into it. We'll find out more in my two-part special, Vote or Die. Will democracy sink or swim?
Okay. Jordan, no one cares about these gaffes or your dumb specials, okay? How about the issues that are going to affect day-to-day life? RFK Jr. could be in charge of, like, school lunches.
True. Although I wouldn't worry too much about that. RFK told me that instead of school lunch, kids will forage for bear meat in Central Park.
Okay, that sounds incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah, if you find a bad bear, sure.
Okay, wait. Did he talk about how he was going to implement this?
I don't know. It's not my job to ask.
It is. You're the media is literally the one thing you're supposed to do. Okay, stop getting distracted by all this meaningless Biden shit and focus on informing the people on the issues that matter.
Wow. Hard truths, Ronnie. Hard truths. You know, you're right. I need to focus more on truly informing the public, and I'll do so in my new 3-part miniseries, a complex look at RFK's history of intervention within the medical system, undermining public trust in our institutions while paving the way for the current national anti-science movement.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds a little boring.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yep, forget it. Check out my 12-part retrospective on that one time Biden mispronounced SCOTUS as scrotum. Balls in your court, an American story.
All right, God bless the media. Jordan Klepper, everybody.